Hi, my name is Amy Blow. I'm a learning coordinator with Nanaimo Ladysmith Public Schools. And today, this video is to share with you about how we can explore concepts of print in play and how we can use our observations to help us create our ongoing communication of student learning. This video is inspired by our BC Early Learning Framework, which encourages us to be curious and reflective in our practice. And so I invite you to do the same as you view this presentation. This framework was recently revised in 2019, and if you have not heard of it yet or you want your own copy, you can download it at the Ministry of Education site as a free PDF download. Just as a reminder that the BC Early Learning Framework is a guide for educators and those in education when interpreting our BC curriculum and working with young children. Our Early Learning Framework also describes educators as researchers and critical thinkers, and we are encouraged to become used to noticing, recording, reflecting, and dialoguing about the moments we have with learners. And therefore, it's going to help us situate the context of our video for ongoing communications of student learning. Our Ministry of Education has made this a company handbook for the Early Learning Framework, and it's applicable for all children aged birth to 8 years of age. The Play Today Handbook encourages a balanced approach between child-directed and educator-directed play-based learning, and so it can help us with the confusion that can arise between what is play and what is learning. The Play Today Handbook mentions that this can be addressed by considering play-based learning as a continuum and that it extends from child-directed learning to educator-guided to, on the right-hand side here, you can see more educator-directed play. The continuum provides concrete definitions of play-based learning, and it also defines the role of educators in implementing this pedagogical approach. So this is just a little refresher of our kindergarten English language arts curriculum as we look at the next few examples about free play and how the concepts of print emerge within that play. So looking at our know, do, understand model, for kindergarten, we have the big idea, playing with language helps us discover how language works. That should be easy within free play. And so we have the do portion here where where children are exploring foundational concepts of print, and you can see them listed there. But then too, within the content learning standards, the know, we can see the curricular content. This is a place where I like to come back to the elaborations for the more specific skills that are within this topic. So for example, some of the curricular content is the symbolic nature of writing, the correspondence of spoken words to printed words, the association of letters and sounds, the distinctive features of letters and words, the correspondence between uppercase and lowercase letters, left to right directionality, the use of a space to mark word boundaries, or even the front and back of a book. I'm going to share with you a few examples of the concepts of print from our English language arts curriculum coming to life through free play. And again, these are just a few possibilities, but I hope they pique your interest and get you wondering. So a few characteristics of free play that is shared with us from the Play Today Handbook is that free play is child initiated. It is self-directed, so children have an opportunity to build their sense of agency. It's pleasurable, so also something that is very important when we're looking at a child's social emotional well-being. This type of play is intrinsically motivating, and it is voluntary. Free play is an opportunity for children to explore their emerging skills and to apply what knowledge they have and to build their competency. This learner has chosen to play with Lego during our choice time, and in part with that, they decided to use the instruction manual to build this teddy bear structure. And so when I'm making observations of this child, I might be thinking, well, that's nice, they're having a lot of fun, they're playing, and all of that is very, very important. but they're being creative, but also with a second glance, I can see through my focused observation of concepts of print that I can learn about what I do know about this learner. So when I make observations with this lens, I see that this play involves reading, and then I know that they can identify the front and the back of the book, and that they understand left to right directionality, and that they can read this visual text to follow the instructions. And I can see that they understand that this text holds meaning so that they're able to build their creation. If I chose to use this sample as an ongoing communication, I would love to use FreshGrade with this, because I could also include an audio or video sample with that as well. And then I can select the curriculum where this child is playing and share it with the parents. Another area of your classroom environment where children can explore concepts of print is in the art center. Here on the left, you can see that this child has chosen to explore with the paint at the easel. They weren't directed to do it, and it was out of their own agency to explore concepts of print. And you can see at the top that there is letter formation, and at the bottom there's also some exploration of swirly writing. So when I was observing, I'm starting to understand that they're aware that print has meaning, and I have a pretty good indicator that this child understands that there's a difference between the writing and the drawing that they're making. If I was using this as a collected moment in an ongoing communication of student learning, I would look for the right moment to engage with conversation with the child about what I had observed about them painting. This might happen during the painting, or it might even happen the next day when the painting is dry and we sit down together to chat about it. This would be a great sample to share on FreshGrade, and then I can add the description of the activity or the play that took place in this circumstance, and I can select the corresponding curriculum. So as educators, we can create environments where children can explore concepts of print within their free play. And so it's important for us to reflect on the materials that are in that space. So this example on the right is a learner who was exploring a variety of different materials that day. They chose pom-poms, pipe cleaners, tissue paper, markers, glue sticks, scissors, and recycled objects, ribbon, quite a variety. But what they have decided here from their exploration is to experiment with printing some letters that were really meaningful to them at that time, and some that they had made connection with from our Jolly Phonics. So things that I can observe, or I did observe about this learner, is I can see the concepts of print emerging in their play. And I love capturing these traces, these moments, through a child's play and sharing it as an authentic piece of evidence of learning, or to make the learning visible to others. So let's take a look at this photo. Some of the concepts of print that I see this child exploring is that they're using that left to right directionality as they print. And they're creating their own print here with a combination of letter strings and swirly writing. They are beginning to explore the use of spaces in some of their swirly writing. You can see that at the top where there's the swirl and then the pause, that break, and then some more swirly writing. And a lot of experimenting and exploring with the formation of letters that were, as I said, familiar and important to them. So in addition to materials, the educator can take a very important role here in free play, in that we can offer the physical space and the time for them to explore, so that they can be thinking, we can be thinking, is it time to transition out of this activity, or are they really into it and there's value in staying with this activity? So we can be looking at how we block our time or how we schedule our time. But I'm also very careful as an observer that I'm here to deepen my understanding about the strengths of this child and where they're making their growths over time. In the construction area, we can always add writing supplies like pencils, erasers, clipboards, and we can incorporate books of things that we notice that are interesting to them. So for example, here I had a group of learners who were really interested in castles, and so I just borrowed a couple of books from our library, and then I hope that this might lead into some further inquiry type play. The dramatic play area is somewhere where we can also be incorporating materials for writing and books as well. Um, I laugh a little bit because you can see all the books on the right here have been taken and organized into bins into some of their dramatic play, and they've done some writing to go along with it. I think they were creating their own library where they could sign out books. But also on the left here, common in dramatic play is children will start to make lists, and here they're exploring that symbolic nature of writing within their free play. So when we are thinking about our learners viewing and seeing themselves as readers and as writers, we can be thinking about what opportunities and materials are we providing for them to be able to write and to be able to read within their play. We can use our observations of our learners from free play and making sure that we have all 4 criteria for the communicating student learning. So we have that piece of authentic evidence from that moment we've collected. We have our descriptive feedback in the conversation that we have with the child, and that is where we can include the student voice as well. You may have other samples or additions of student voice from your observation. And then we are explicitly referencing the learning standards from our curriculum as well. And Fresh Grade makes this quite easy to do. We can just select the curriculum that we want, and we can audio record or video record that conversation that we're having with the child or that child in play. And it's just really nice to share with families that authentic learning through play. Always willing to chat and talk and love to hear your questions. Feel free to contact me. Hope you all enjoyed this. Take care.